Hi, my name is Tiara Tuttle, and the title of our project is What Proportion of Brighton High School Students Prefer Playing Sports Outside over Watching Sports on TV? And the type of bias that we chose is providing additional information to create response bias. And so the questions that we asked our samples are: 1, would you prefer to watch sports on TV or play them outside? And then 2, the one with added information, is studies show that watching sports on TV reduces stress and builds self-esteem. Would you prefer to watch sports on TV or play them outside? And so our hypothesis was because many subjects may see watching sports on TV as more convenient based on these previous studies and this added information, this bias, we think that the majority of the Brighton High School population will choose to watch sports on TV instead of playing them outside.
Hi, hello there. My name is Nathan Burnett, and I'm going to be discussing our data collection process. So, to collect our samples, we used a cluster sampling method. To do this, out of 88 Brighton High School teachers, we took a simple random sample of size 4 of those teachers. To do this, we assigned each teacher a numerical value, 1 through 88, and then generated 4 random integers with no repeats within that range using a calculator. Now the corresponding teachers with those numerical values will be selected for the sample. And then we proceeded to sample all students in the flex classes of those teachers. Now for assigning questions, for the 4 selected teachers, we gave them new numerical values and generated 2 random integers within that range with no repeats, ranging from 1 to 4. And then the selected teachers, they will be assigned the original question that has no added information. The remaining 2 teachers will be given the question that has the added information. Now with gathering the information, we proceeded to visit all 4 teachers and their corresponding flex classes. In doing so, we wrote the assigned questions on the board, and each student would write their response. At the conclusion of the survey, we collected the responses. Now let's take a look at the results.
Yeah, let's take a look at the results.
So according to the results, our original prediction was very incorrect. By adding information, the proportion of students that favored watching sports on television over playing them outside actually decreased from 12.9% to 4.9%. So therefore, there's actually a greater proportion of students that favored playing a sport outside over watching a sport on television. So, why is that? Well, I think it has to do with the current event combined with the characteristics of the population. Now, we all know that the COVID-19 virus has affected everyone across the world, and in particular, teenagers have been quarantined for extended periods of time. Now, when you ask someone, would you rather do something inside or outside, especially to a teenager who's been cooped up inside, the word outside all alone has more appeal to someone of those characteristics. So, it's going to influence them to want to go outside and play sports rather than watch a sport on TV. So I think a current event like that has a greater influence on responses than simply adding extra information.
So as part of our conclusion, Nathan and I discussed all the possible things that we could improve in our experiment and just things that we would change for the future. And one of these things we would do differently is to make our principal question more general and more unfamiliar towards our sample. Because we feel like our question we used for this sample might have had a better answer, and that would be playing sports outside, because we were talking about it and we're like, well, that's what I would choose. That's what I would choose, playing sports outside. And like Nathan was saying, we didn't really think about the situation at hand, COVID and everything. And so our question would be a little more unfamiliar. For example, we could use a type of food or a breed of animal, and it would be something more like, Cocker Spaniels are said to be more energetic and good with people. Would you rather have a Cocker Spaniel or a Labrador Retriever? Or something like that, where it's very similar, the 2 options, and it is more unfamiliar towards the sample. And so that was something that we discussed for our conclusion.